All right, so in this video, we're going to go over what we were talking about in our last video, right? Is how do I prepare for my listing appointment? Well, first and foremost, I like to first see what type of property we're going into. So, for instance, this client was referred to us by a really amazing family that not only we manage all their real estate portfolios, but as well has referred us a lot of business throughout the years. And it's an honor to be able to now serve their friends as well. And so, first thing is, I want to know about the property. So, we've seen the property, we looked at the property, the townhouse here in the city of Morgan Hill. It's a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bathrooms. And so, one things that I like to do is, okay, now once I've seen the property, I know the product, right? Like, I'm already imagining how we're going to market this property. That's a big deal for us and for myself and for our team, where anytime we go into any type of property, immediately we're already thinking how we're going to market, how what we're going to highlight, what we're going to pull from our sellers that attracted them to purchase that property. Because all these big things from a seller's perspective is important to then be able to relay that information to the next buyer. See, one of the things that I've learned in this industry, in this business, is that the more I give out to a buyer, the more secure they feel about what they're actually going into. Um, that's how real estate should typically be. So those are the things that we are going to be focusing on. And so the biggest thing that we focus on is bringing the exact data. So to break things down, bear with me. It's going to be a lot of information, but this is kind of how we then process everything. The question our clients gave us was, can we get 1,000,001 for our property right now in this market? Okay. Of course, I, as an agent and being in sales, I immediately want to say yes, right? Because I want the deal. But it's not about just me wanting the deal, it's about me delivering and being able to execute that deal for my client. And so before I commit, I first have to analyze and be able to translate authenticity and translate truth so that way my clients have the right expectations. So, like I mentioned, in the city of Morgan Hill, there's 32 properties on the market, townhouses and condos. Okay, that's the first thing I want to not only understand, but as well make available to my sellers. Two, I break that down. Out of those 32 properties, there's only 8 properties on the market that fall in that category. Okay, out of those 8, I then look at what's the lowest price point that's active, what is the highest price point that's active, and then I look at square footage. So right now, the lowest price point is 999,000, and the highest price point is 1,298,000. So then I look at the 999,000 and 1,298,000. From there, then I look at my square footage. Okay, where are we at with square footage? It's 1699, the lowest, and about 2261, the highest. Now, for us, I then take it a step further. Our property is around 2,200. So then I look, okay, where are we at with the 2,200 square foot property? Well, look at that. There is one that's 2222. It's listed at 1,099,000. It's been on the market 13 days, and it's about I would say about less than a quarter of a mile from our listing for my seller's property. So now again, I break that down. So immediately I already know we're 32 properties in. Out of the 32, my main competitors are going to be, right, 8 properties. Out of those 8, I have to understand that out of the 8, there's only one that really falls in line with the square footage of where I'm at. But then 2, that tells me that there's also going to be 4 other opportunities for any buyer to as well negotiate and shop me around. And then that's when I start looking at, okay, well, where are we going to land with price points? So, being the fact that there's one right now on the market that's listed for, it's a new construction, brand new. Okay, it's listed. It's 4 bedroom, 3.5 bathrooms. So it's a full bedroom, a full bathroom bigger than mine. Okay, it's in a newer community, more amenities. Those are another things you have to pay attention to. How much is the HOA? What's the amenities come with that HOA, right? So right off the bat, I already know that this community has more amenities than the community that my sellers have. And so then I look at, okay, why is this property sitting for so long? Well, the reason why it's been sitting for so long is, one, it's really not actively ready yet. It's still under construction, so it gives me an opportunity to be ahead of it, right? But then 2, then I look at, okay, what's the next options that other buyers are going to have, right? So like I said, there's 4 of them. So from there, I then go back to I want to know where are we at with pendings and closings. So right now, pendings, there's a total of 7 properties. Out of the 7 properties, the lowest one is gonna well, it was listed at 1,049,000. The highest one was listed at 1,003,000. Lowest square footage is 2,085. Highest square footage is 2,425. And then I look at the big number, which is closings. So I typically go back about um, 30 days. So we're in September now, so let's just go October. So I'm sorry, let's just go to July 1st, 2025 till now. And then there is only 5 properties. Out of the five, one sold for 993, and that one was 2,085. And guess what? It's right in the same community that we're going to be listing our property at. And then two, I then look at, okay, well, what's the next one that sold for 1,175,000? Different community, different feel of his townhouse. Even though it's listed as a condominium, actually, not a townhouse, as a condominium, it does give a single family residence feel. And so right off the bat, I already know at 1,175,000, this is going to be kind of a stretch. And that's that they actually did a huge price reduction. They originally were at 1,250,000, then they sold it for 1,175,000. So, like I said, this is a lot of data, but this is data that's needed, and for me to be able to translate to my seller. So then that way, when they ask that question, Julio, can we get 1,000,001? My right off the bat's going to be, it's close, but if we go on market right now, we're going to sit because let's look at our actives again, and let's actually look at our pendings first. Average days on market, okay, for what's pending. This is a big crucial number to understand. $53 days, average days on market. So if my sellers are trying to make this quick and under 30 days, that means if we hit the market at 1,000,001, we're gonna sit for a while, right? Because these are the properties that are actually pending. Now, when I go to the properties that are actually active, the 8, okay, we are now at days on market 23. So active, they're at 23. However, price points haven't really moved. So then that tells me as well, as these start hitting the over the 30-day mark, guess what's going to happen? Kind of like the other one that was listed for 1,250,000 that sold for 1,175,000. There's going to have to be a big move that's going to happen, and it's going to need to happen. And so with that being said, these are pretty much due for a price reduction. So the whole goal of this is to always beat that seller that's already on the market on that price reduction. Typically, right now, the price reductions we're seeing is between 3 to 5%. And so, in certain pockets, certain areas. But for this particular market, for these particular properties, that's what the number is, 3 to 5%. So, right off the bat, I already now know, okay, if my client is wanting 1,000,001, right, and we take a 3% hit, that puts us at 1,067,000. 1,067,000 is still a little high for us to be able to go on the market. Why? Because if I go listed at 1,067,000 right now, we're right off the bat the second highest property on the market, and buyers are going to have the options to go somewhere else before they come to ours. And so, what's going to be the right price point? The right price point comes down to don't be attached to the house, be attached to the result that you're looking for. And that's if you're going to upgrade, then this is where you make those sacrifices, meaning we're going to sacrifice on our list price and maybe in our end result of the sale, but then we're going to benefit. Why? Because on the buy side, we're going to be able to make the difference. And that's where right now can be a big differential where it can help a lot of sellers turn into buyers, but be able to sell and buy at the same time. That's something we've been trying for years now and have constantly gotten great results when we're in markets like this. The biggest thing is this. When you understand all of this data, it's going to allow you to make the right decision. And so if this information helps you out and to see the bigger picture, but you now want your analysis, reach out to me. That way we can definitely get together, break everything down for you, and help you the same way we're helping this client out to be able to make the right decisions, and be able to give them the right expectations so that way we can have the right sale. So to answer the question, would I get 1,000,001 right now in this market? There is a high possibility. However, we need to still be a little bit more aggressive with the price point. So now that's where I relate to my sellers. What is the lowest you're willing to list your property for that's going to make it attractive? It doesn't necessarily mean we will go after that number, but if that number did come today as an offer, would you accept that offer to be able to move to your next chapter of life? So, as always, I'm Julio Orozco with Intero. Hopefully this information helped you out, and thanks so much for sticking by throughout this video, throughout this process. And if you are wanting more information about your property, make sure to DM me. All right, we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.